Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk to you about what's going on with Infinity Train and other Cartoon Network shows. Apparently, Infinity Train has been snapped from existence by David Zaslav.
Yeah, this is weird. It's not like they just took it off HBO Max. It's like they're purging it from the internet.
Yeah, so this goes above and beyond just taking it off a streaming service, and I'm trying to figure out what the logic is. In fact, we did a video a couple of days ago. Cartoon Brew had some theories as to what was going on. There's been some talk about, royalties being an issue, residuals being an issue. Geeky and I had mentioned that it could be that they want to just, package these shows and sell off IP that's not, an important part of the company. It's not Scooby-Doo, right? But
it doesn't matter if it's Scooby-Doo either.
It doesn't matter if it's Scooby-Doo. They canceled Scoob too. So something's definitely up. We're going to look into this weird, wild situation with animation now at Discovery, which it appears is not very important at all to Warner Brothers, and that is concerning on many, many levels. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, over 274,000 subs.
Woo!
Thank you. Almost 275. And if you want to support independent content, we're going to be launching Crimson Rhen very, very soon. In fact, I think later
today. It better
tonight.
be today, because you said this week all week.
I know. Well, I was waiting on some
I'm annoyed too. It's not just anybody who wanted to back it.
I've had to wait on some details. I had to wait on some details.
Well, you don't have to wait anymore, so put it up.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's Christmas.
Anyway, hey, you can have Crimson Rhen time for next Christmas.
Yeah.
Not this Christmas, but next Christmas.
Because printing delays.
Printing, yes. What are they calling it? Supply chain issues. So we're gonna offer this here pretty soon. Check it out. This is an all new adventure. This is a prequel to Shadowbinders. This is a standalone story. It's going to be broken into 2 parts. But Geeky came up with a story. We worked on the script together. Jose Garcia, who has done work for Cartoon Network and DreamWorks and Nick and all those companies, did the art, so it has a very animated look to it. And if we ever get an animation deal for Crimson Rhen, we're going to be sure not to get the same deal that the creator of Infinity Train got. And he's complained multiple times. I think it's Owen Dennis.
Mm-hmm. It is.
He was complaining that they canceled Infinity Train. Now, for everybody who says Clownfish hates everything, that is definitely not true. In fact, we are animation fans. I have praised Infinity Train on multiple occasions.
Right, and we've said we've liked different things. Owl House we said was good.
Yeah, we said the Owl House was good.
And some of these shows I think Prom's stupid, but
the shipping is a problem. The shipping is a problem.
We've liked movies and shows lately that we've said we liked it. Like Turning Red wasn't bad, and Encanto was really good. And we've said this.
2 of my favorite movies this year, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and Nope. But people don't listen to that. They only listen to oh my God, this one thing I like that you didn't like, that means you're a Nazi. Anyway, that is neither here nor there. Infinity Train is a show I did enjoy quite a bit. I thought it was a very unique concept, and it was executed very well, and it was executed. They canceled it. HBO Max canceled it. It was on Cartoon Network.
And it seems like they're executing it very well.
They are absolutely executing it. It has been purged. They didn't just take it off of HBO Max. They have purged this show from
so weird.
Everywhere. And I don't know what's going on with it. CNN News has it. They linked to Owen Dennis's Substack, so let's see what's going on here. So what's going on with Infinity Train? Now, Infinity Train was one of several shows that they removed, but it seems like Zaslav has a hate on for Infinity Train. Talking about all the shows that were taken off, Infinity Train, OKKO, Summer Camp Island. People have been working behind the scenes for days trying to figure out what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 phone calls, texts, and emails have been sent, but the problem is that the entirety of Warner and Discovery is undergoing a merger. This means that people who you would normally talk to have been fired, moved, or quit. So no one has any idea how to even get the information they need right now. Cartoon Network, they've gotten rid of people at Cartoon Network. They've gotten people rid of people at Warner Animation. This is the same thing that happened in the early days of the merger with AT&T. So we're talking within a 5-year span of 2 major upheavals with Warner Brothers and Cartoon Network. Never cheer for a corporate merger. They help about 100 people and it hurts thousands. Redundancies. Because of the confusion, I thought I'd share what I know of as of today. This would have been last night. So far, everything related to or mentioning Infinity Train has been removed from HBO Max, Cartoon Network, HBO Max and Cartoon Network's Twitter accounts, HBO Max and Cartoon Network's YouTube accounts. all music streaming services. Currently, it's still available on iTunes, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Google Play, and YouTube. I do not know how long it will stay on any of those services. No one does. As of yesterday, I was assured by Warner it would not be taken down from any pay-per-season episode services.
Oh, that's interesting. Pay per season or per episode.
Right.
So is that what's happening to this stuff? It's being scrubbed everywhere, but if you want it, you have to pay per episode?
But the problem is with animation, I mean, there are animation fans out there that will track down series that they loved and they'll pay for it. I mean, I've mentioned before about, Pirates of Dark Water being one of my favorites, but as time goes on and the show has been scrubbed from existence, people will forget it exists and there will be no demand to buy it.
Well, most people aren't going to buy it anyway. They're going to arg.
They're going to arg it.
They're going to arg
Speaking
it.
of pirates, speaking of pirates.
They're going to arg it.
You have to, wouldn't that be ironic to pirate Pirates of Dark Water? Mm-hmm. So he's saying, I'm pretty sure that if iTunes is no longer allowed to have the show, they won't take it away from you after you pay for it. Yeah, it's usually how it works. Now, we've seen with, I think it was Sony, that they actually started pulling movies down that people had paid for already overseas from the PlayStation Store. There's certain studios, and that's the problem you run into with digital is you have it for as long as that company is in business or they have a deal.
Well, some of these shows were still showing up on HBO Max in other countries. People were saying if you use like a rotating proxy and then a VPN, and then you put the English language on it, you can still watch it there.
Yeah, if you want to go take the long way around. He said this is the scary part about no longer using physical media. Again, when possible, if you have a favorite show or series or something, buy the physical copies, especially with all these streaming services changing content. Mm-hmm. They change content in real time. Again, another show I am a huge fan of, Northern Exposure. There are multiple versions of the series out there. You can't stream it anywhere as far as I know, but the first version they released, they cut all the music out of it because they didn't want to pay the royalties. But the problem is the music fits so perfectly with the episodes and it really is part of the show. The soundtrack is amazing. So to get the correct version of it, I had to get the overseas version of Northern Exposure, but I'm not parting with it because you're not going to find it on a streaming service. So buy it. If you love it, buy it. How did this happen? No idea. I'm told from various sources this wasn't supposed to happen until next week sometime.
But it was still going to happen.
Yep. So Cartoon Network and HBO Max could have time to tell all the show creators and artists what's going on. That's obviously not what happened. And now this is where that disorganization has gotten us. Cartoon Network warned them not to do this as it would hurt relationships with creators and talent. They clearly do not care what any of this looks like publicly, much less how we feel about it. Welcome to corporate America.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it is.
Sadly, this is what happened.
People think that we're actually rooting for David Zaslav to destroy Warner Brothers, and that is not the case. In fact, and I hate to be that guy, but we told you so. We had people come to us before this happened, as soon as it was being rumored that David Zaslav was going to take over. They're like, oh my God, this is going to be a catastrophe. Like, this guy doesn't care about anything except the bottom line. And in some cases, you can applaud some quote unquote course correction, but this guy doesn't have a creative bone in his body.
No, this is about money. This is like Chapek, but worse.
This is like a less creative Bob Chapek, basically, is what's going on here. The general consensus is that it has something to do with paying animators and artists their residuals that they're owed for their work. You will sometimes see an argument online of, well, they already paid the artists to make it, so what are they complaining about? Do not listen to someone who says this because they don't understand or don't care about what our pay structure is. This is true.
This is true, but however, you're not guaranteed those things.
No, so it's really complicated. It depends on the deal, but there is a reason that so many showrunners these days are doing voiceover parts on their own shows, because sometimes they don't get residuals on the show, but they get residuals on the voiceover work they've done. Right,
but the residuals is dependent upon it being aired.
Right.
And when you make your deal and you're paid, there's no promise that it's going to be run so many. I mean, mostly it's never like, oh, it's going to run for, infinity, no pun intended. So if you're not getting residuals, that's,
Yeah, I mean, and this is the unfortunate thing with Cartoon Network, and this has happened to many other creators. Again, we did a video a couple of years ago about the Megas XLR creative team trying to get control of their show again. But when you sign a deal with a Cartoon Network or a Nickelodeon or a Disney, they own it. unless you've got a damn good contract that says otherwise, they own it. There might be an option to buy them out, but unless you've got millions of dollars to do so, and if you had millions of dollars, you would have just bankrolled the thing yourself and kept all of it. But that's why these creators go to these networks, because they have the money, but they get to keep it. But anyway, he said this also means music and actor residuals will stop. For reference, the first quarter of this year, I made $388 off residuals from voicing 1-1. We're not talking about a whole lot of money. That's the equivalent of the studio accidentally buying an extra office chair. CNBC has estimated this will likely save Discovery somewhere in the tens of millions of dollars. A very small drop in the bucket of the $3 billion that Zaslav says he wants to save by 2023. CNBC also says everything getting pulled from HBO Max was infrequently watched, according to people familiar with the matter. First off, no one is familiar with the matter because the entire industry has been trying to reach people that are familiar with the matter for 3 days and they haven't been able to do so.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
That being said, it's hard to believe that Shock Corridor, Mystery of the Wax Museum, The X from Outer Space, Ice Station Zima, Red Sonja, or Captain Blood, while all fantastic movies, are being frequently watched. Clearly, it's not frequency. It must be something else. I think it's a combination. I think they're like, are people watching a lot of these shows, and how much do we have to pay to keep these shows on the platform? And or and he said this during the earnings call. He said they could bundle, like, you were talking about, they could bundle up some of the stuff that's not core assets to them and sell them off. They could say, hey, you want to buy some of our, B and C list Cartoon Network properties, that are, everything that's not Scooby-Doo or Teen Titans goes up for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a scary thought if you're a showrunner. Like, what the hell is going to happen? Then it goes to some other network and they do a sequel or a spinoff and they don't have you involved because contractually they don't have to do it. They don't have to.
This next paragraph is very interesting, though.
However, if they were able to find someone familiar with the matter and it was about frequency, Discovery has failed to show statistics or provide what metrics they're using. By all publicly available metrics, Infinity Train was in the 91st percentile in children's media. At its height.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick, but that's not, glowing right there. And then the next part is like, it was 17 times more popular than the average TV show. What TV show are you comparing it to?
Well, that's yeah.
But here, as of yesterday evening, it was 1, 2, 3, and 5 on iTunes for kids in the top 20. Yeah, of course it is.
They're buying it now. People are buying it
because they're trying. Yes,
they're trying to find it.
The fans that you did have are buying it.
Yep.
Or people are like, "What's all the fuss about?" That you can't really leverage that last sentence because that's just because they're pulling it. But 91st percentile.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and this is why the show was canceled. He actually talked about it before. And again, I want to reiterate, I like Infinity Train. I like it. I think it's a good show. I think it's a quality show. That being said, it's not a merchandisable show, and they canceled Infinity Train as they decided they were going to double down on preschool entertainment with, kiddie toys that they can sell, and you're not going to see Infinity Train.
They want Coco Melon.
So he says, is the show gone forever? I don't believe so. As I said, it's apparently still available on the sources listed above, although I do not know for how long. The problem is I can't be entirely sure if the information I'm getting is truthful or if it's just to placate us.
That's fair, because we've seen that happen before.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, to me, pulling it, not running it anymore is one thing, but going and pulling it from every place on the internet is what's really, really, really weird.
Yeah, that's weird. I can honestly say I've never seen anything like this before. Usually they'll pull a show down, they'll cancel a show, but they don't completely wipe it from existence. That's what's so weird about this whole thing. Because, them having tweets about it wouldn't have any bearing on whether or not they have to pay royalties.
Yeah, it's weird. And the thing is, that's why, if I were them, I'd be upset. Cancellation happens, okay? Yeah, I get that. But, they're going above and beyond to scrub it. And that's where I'm, siding with these guys on that. Because I'm like, yeah, I'd be mad too. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I can totally see where they're coming from about being upset here. Yeah, they're treating this thing like it was some problematic piece of entertainment. But it wasn't. Oh my God, we just found out that Infinity Train was all, a dog whistle for the alt-right Nazis, and it's all full of N-words and anagrams and nasty things. And then, yeah.
but it's just gone.
Yeah,
And
it really is. It really is uncool how they did this to everyone. Yeah, I mean, they should have let the creators know. Unfortunately, we've seen this many times with different people that were parts of projects. They were redoing their project, no one bothered telling them, or they weren't cast when they were the person that did the voice acting for years, and no one bothered telling them. We see this shitty behavior all the time, and they really need to stop. They wouldn't have as much backlash. There would still be backlash, but they're getting a lot more backlash from the way they handled the situation.
it sounds to me like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. Like he said that they were going to communicate to Cartoon Network, and then Cartoon Network was going to break it to them, but basically they just snapped everything from the platform.
Yeah, this really isn't cool.
And
not cool.
Next week there might be an official explanation as to what happened.
They're just going to give you something to cover.
Because of corporate synergies and blah, blah, and change of directions and redundancies, blah, 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 your show's going to be vaulted for the next 30 years. Maybe you can do a Kickstarter or something and get the rights back, but yeah, whatever. You know,
yeah, this is weird.
Moving on.
They won't do that because they know they'll probably get the rights back because they'll get enough money on Kickstarter, guaranteed.
Probably. Anyway, how are you feeling? I think the way Discovery went about this is incredibly unprofessional,
Agreed.
rude, and straight up slimy.
Agreed.
I think most everyone who makes anything feels this way across the industry. Talent's mad, agents are mad, lawyers and managers are mad, execs at these companies are mad.
I'm sure.
Whoever's left. I can't think of a single person who works in animation and entertainment that when you bring all this up doesn't say, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. I mean, that's the thing. People are like, well, David Zaslav would never do this and he'd never do that. That'd be stupid if they... They're canceling movies that are 95% done. This guy doesn't give a shit how you feel. He doesn't give a shit about long-term relationships because I'll tell you the truth. I don't think his plan is for the long term. I think this is a guy who is cutting costs, trimming this company down to next to nothing, and then he's going to offload whatever's left to some sucker in three to 5 years. You know, he's going to try to make it profitable with a bunch of reality TV and shit. He doesn't care about animation. He doesn't care about comic books. If you work in animation or comic books or anything that's easily chopped, you're screwed. You know, you are. I really, truly think you need to be looking for another job or something because I don't see a future there long term.
Well, there's like people asking what they can do to help. And basically, he's like, don't address the executives in charge.
Yeah, this is actually very cool. I will give him props for this because I have seen showrunners of cartoons, and cartoon stands are batshit crazy, a lot of them. They are. We've most of our problems, 95% of our problems, our threats and all this other weird shit that happens to us comes from cartoon stands. I get you're passionate about your show or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's an effing cartoon. He's even like that. He's like, do not post addresses of the executives in charge of this decision online. Basically, don't dox anybody involved in this. Do not do that. It's dangerous. You have no idea who is reading what you're typing at any given moment and what that can motivate them to do. Again, we have seen showrunners, I'm not going to name names, showrunners with known toxic fan bases sit back and let their stands attack detractors and send them threats and sometimes death threats, and they've done absolutely nothing about it.
Right. Actually, until it bites them in the ass when they come for them.
Until it bites them in the ass. And then you just kind of chuckle to yourself and be like, well, this is the audience you wanted. I will give Owen Dennis mad props for doing this. So many toxic cartoon fandoms out there. And for him to come out and say, do not dox people, do not harass people. This is a business decision. I'm pissed. You're pissed. Everybody's pissed. But nobody should wind up dead. He even said, posting addresses does not bring the show back. It's one thing when we do that to people like judges or lawmakers. Oh, no.
No, that's not one thing then either. That shouldn't happen either.
I don't think you should be doing that to anybody.
A cartoon. Cartoon, exactly. Because we're talking about it can get very weird. You have no idea what they're going to do.
Yeah, there's a different degree of protest, and taking away a cartoon does not reach the degree necessary for doxing someone or worse. Like I said, there are some nutso people out there. What happens?
Yes, there are. They all seem to like to send us messages. I'll tell you that.
They do. They send people working on shows they like messages because they didn't draw characters a certain way, or they didn't draw them with the right people. Give them their shit. Cartoon Twitter is crazy. They're absolutely crazy. But the thing is that like when you dox people, you're basically putting you might not be pulling the trigger, but you're secretly hoping somebody else will. That's and for him to come out and say that, I think that needs to be said more often. Again, I've seen other showrunners on other shows or comic book creators or whatever be fully aware that their fan base is
batshit,
and not do anything about it. And so I will give him props for that. He seems like he's an adult. And yeah, I don't know what's...
Well, by the way, he's already off doing something else anyway.
Yeah, but this is weird. I mean, I can honestly tell you, I've never seen anything like it. You know, people think that we're rooting for Zaslav to just like completely gut Warner's, and that is not the case. I think there needs to be balance. I think you need to cull shows and movies or whatever that are costing you a lot of money and not giving you a return on it. But this whole situation with these properties does not make sense at all.
As far as they're going.
Yeah. To just scrub it from Twitter and everything, it's like, what the hell is going on here? So hopefully we'll find out next week. I don't know, guys. Keep your resumes updated if you work for any branch of Warner Brothers. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.